We started this mastermind. Yeah, we started this mastermind, guess, August 26th, and this is the very third week. We are dealing with the 15 invaluable laws of growth, and it's a virtual session. For me, it's 6 p.m. EST, and for you, it's 12 p.m. I don't know, Hawaiian time. So, and the focus of our class is, to discover your purpose. You need to grow. You need to grow in self-awareness, as in you need to know yourself in order for you to be able to grow. And basically, that's all the focus on the mastermind. We come to glean from each other, learn from each other, so we get better at what we do. So I want to welcome everyone. Tonight's going to be another great session with Stephanie Kawasaki. Next slide, please. And likely, this is what we shared at the first day of the training, that we see the things in a different light. Just the same way you look at all these diagrams. So to some people, the beach might resonate with you, the trees, the vegetation, and the stars. To me, I said the books resonated with me, but I need to go beyond the book. I need to start taking our time to relax. So some people, maybe the stars, they like, being out there in the night. So, I'm just talking about this picture. What resonates with you. And I don't know, does anyone wants to speak concerning this diagram? You want to say something? I love the beach. It's serenity in the beach.
And one day you'll come and visit.
Yeah, sure, I would.
Okay.
So what's a mastermind? It's actually a method of training. When a group of people come together to study a particular subject, they come together to share. And that's why we come together. We have read the 15 invaluable laws, and we're having a 5 weeks mastermind. And we're coming to glean from each other. Just the same way I said those diagrams, meant different things to different people. So the soul is a mastermind. When you read books, the different things we all grasp from the book is different because we're different. You can read the same topic and have the different ideas. And so today we want to glean from one another. We study a special topic to pull collective minds of a group. And that's what we want to do. We want to learn from each and every one of you, just the same way we're trying to also, share with others too. So, and today the lady taking you on is Kawasaki Stephanie. She'll be taking you into a deeper dive into the mastermind tonight. Thank you so much for coming. And we are guided by this principle, this paradigm as leaders. It is said that everything rises and falls with a leader. And a leader is one who knows it and shows it to all. And that's what we're doing today. And that's what we're leaving you to go do out there, because we know your leaders already in your different sphere. We have a learning circle. We have the learn it, the leave it, and the lead it. So we learned, we'll leave it, and we'll also lead others into doing what we think is good. We model the style we want others to follow. So over to Stephanie Kawasaki. Thank you so much, and welcome to today's class.
Thank you, Sandra, for that wonderful introduction and for recapping and starting off us on a good foot. Okay, let's go into chapter 3, the law of the mirror. Now, it's not what you think. Interesting enough, I thought it was about how you see yourself or how others see you. However, how many of you read the chapter? You don't have to raise your hand. That's okay. Okay, good. Thank you. It was a really interesting chapter. Okay, so you must see value in yourself to add value to yourself. I thought that was a very interesting concept that John had brought up in this chapter, because interesting enough, I don't know if any of you thought of that, but I haven't even thought about that. I've always thought about how I looked or how people saw me, and if they valued me, and if I was bringing value to them. It was all about me and how I looked and how I presented myself, and how if I was portraying a way, a level of confidence that would help people believe me and what I was saying. However, I love the way that John had taken this law and turned it in a way that we did it where we could see introspect. We're actually looking at ourselves and how we value ourselves. So right off the bat, let's start off with a question. There was on page, he asked how we value, if we had people that heard us, had seen us or gives us feedback, how much do we value that feedback? So in other words, discuss the difference between understanding others' views on us and placing too much weight on their view. I learned a lot about this in Toastmasters because we have our evaluation on our speeches, which is immediate feedback on your speeches. And that's something that I've had to learn how to accept because I don't really want to hear it most times. I don't know about you, but I don't want to hear I only want to hear the good stuff. I don't want to hear the bad stuff. So when you answer the survey at the end of this 5 weeks, just tell me the good stuff. No, just kidding. Just kidding. No. However, what I've learned is the good positive feedback is good. However, the actual feedback on how you can improve is just as good as well. And how we accept it is another thing, right? So sometimes we put too much weight on it. And in fact, one time when and it wasn't even a speech, it was something that I did, a talk, and someone came up to me and gave me kudos. Another person like full on gave me negative feedback, and I was devastated. I didn't want to do it again. But what I took from that was that I learned how to take what I can gain and apply it, but maybe not to put too much weight on it. So I want to hear from you, everyone else. Does anyone have any ideas or any feedback on how this works, or how you've experienced any of this, understanding someone's view? And I'm sorry, but I cannot see the whole screen because I'm in a different spot right now. But if go ahead and just chime in.
Okay, I'll chime in there, Steff, and hopefully we can get everybody started here. I took a lot of my learning process regarding the look in the mirror with Toastmasters. And I remember the very first few meetings in Toastmasters, although I was very nervous and very scared, I was very upfront in letting everyone know that I have a thick skin and that I would prefer to hear all the critiques. And obviously everybody's different, but in my case, I figured and I felt that I pretty much know the level of confidence I have in myself, but I need to know how others sees me and how their perception are of me. So it was more important for me to know their negative or their critiques for me, because I understood that this is the only way that I can change not necessarily my outlook, but how I portray myself to others so that I can be more value to everyone. Because when everyone values you, and of course you have to value yourself first, and I needed to know all the critiques so that I can improve myself. But once everyone values you, then you're doing something for everyone. And I wanted to do something for everyone, and of course for myself, because that's part of the growth. But I needed to know what I needed to improve on. And yes, sometimes it's hard to accept the critiques because you don't necessarily want to hear that about you. But I took that upon myself from the very beginning, that whatever their critiques are or their perception of me, I have to accept it, because I don't know how I look or am perceived by others, but I need to know. Back to you, Steff, or anyone else.
Yeah, I have something I'd like to share. So I'm a DoD supervisor, and we do ratings, right, for our people. While I will critique or will talk about critical elements for my people and how we can do better, I turn that around and say, okay, now it's your turn, free for all, no holds bar. What can I do better, to make our team better, or personally, they're practically begging for feedback. And I don't necessarily want to hear the wonderful things, because that's not everybody tells you wonderful things. I want to know, I help you improve on a personal level as well as work. I want to know, what can I do to improve myself? So after begging rating period after rating period, I've still never received how can I improve, or how can I help you help, how can we help the team? So I really truly do not know what it would feel like to have feedback that's critical of me, because I've never had it, even on top of the fact that I'm begging for it and saying I will never hold it against you. So I don't have an experience that I could share that I did receive critical feedback. And I also like to add, I admittedly said that I know I'm not perfect. I know there's things I can do to improve. So help me improve. But yeah, haven't received that just yet. So I don't know how I would react to feedback, critical feedback.
I think in response to that, a little bit to help you there, Sherry, is that more often than not, the more people learn or knows about you, and it took a little while, even in Toastmasters, it took a little while for other people to feel comfortable that and accepting that, hey, you know what? Dan is really genuine and authentic about wanting to receive critical feedback, and that he really doesn't take it personally or get hurt if you give him critical feedback. And you can always tell the people that are in sync with you and that understand you and is willing to help you, because they're the ones that would be able to and willing to give you critical feedback. Now, keep in mind, though, that it has to be a both-way understanding. And most people will understand that, there's a certain way in how you deliver critical feedback that can be accepting, and there are certain ways that you can deliver feedback that everybody will reject, or that person will reject. So it's important for everyone to understand that you have to deliver it in a certain way in order for it to be accepted. And in other words, just being courteous and giving them the proper way of giving the critical feedback. But once people realize that about you, they'll be readily able to do that. And I've known plenty enough of Toastmasters that are willing to give me the necessary critical feedback in order for me to improve. And I see them and I look at them, it's like, oh, okay. And they don't deliver it in a bad way, deliver it in a good way, so that you understand that, they are really looking out for me.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's why, you call it a positive criticism, such that, it's there for you to improve. It's just there to, show you how you're doing, what you need to do to improve. And that's what the Toastmaster really does for you. They criticize you, what you did right and what you did not do right, and where you need to improve. And so that's just there for you to help you, not because anyone has anything negative about you, but they want to help you. So they're saying what they saw and how they think this will help you by, giving you feedback. So feedbacks are very necessary in order for you to know where you stand and where you need to be.
Yeah. Anyone? Oh, Robin, got something? Go ahead.
So, but it sounds like, Sherry, that you're the supervisor, and so that's a different situation, because their job is at stake, and a lot of people aren't going to want to give you that feedback, but if you are with peers, people that are on the same level as you, or they have no, there's no risk involved. That's local culture here in Hawaii. They just don't want to speak up. They're not used to the whole feedback thing. Trust me, I know. I work in that kind of same environment. But so for years, I wanted that as well in my situation. So I just sought out peers that have no, risk involved in giving me that feedback, and because if they're subordinates and it's their job and they're getting paid, they're going to be much more hesitant. No matter how sweet you are, no matter how the delivery is, they just aren't, ready to go there. So
It's that fear of repercussion.
sure. Yeah. So I hope that helps, maybe like what they're sharing, maybe even being in Toastmasters, everybody has that freedom to share. And, there's a little bit more, vulnerability for everybody. So maybe you just need to find the right people to give you that right feedback.
Thank you.
That's good. Thank you. Thank you everyone for sharing. So what about this? What about thinking it as a potential, or helping the person to their fullest potential? In other words, what is the feedback that could help me, live to my fullest potential? And if we can switch it around to that, maybe the person or the people that we're asking feedback from would feel more like they were helping more than, criticizing. Because of the feedback, I can grow to my my highest potential. I'm still not there yet. And I want to grow and I want to get better. And because of that, if you can help me grow to my fullest potential, why not? Right? So anyone else have anything? Jiki, you want to share something?
Well, I can recall thank you. I can recall that when I had to do an evaluation, if there was an issue within the office, it would never come to my office. I would engage with the person. I'd say, hey, let's go outside. And they go, uh-oh, am I going to get lickings? And so I said, no, let's go outside. And the purpose of removing them from the environment of the office changes the entire dynamic, Sherry, because what happens now is that when I'm in greenery, or I'm in a park-like setting, I'll say, so what are your concerns? And I'll be frank with you. Whatever you say here is just said between you and me. And let's look at how we can come with a solution. When I've done that several times in the past, there is no fear of retribution or threat repercussion, because it's a friendlier environment, and the whole auspice of the environment, of the office environment, is removed from the situation, because an open field gives them an opportunity to be a little bit more open. The other thing too that I find is that you can never be a prophet in your own country. And that happens with family, it happens with relatives, with workers. And the only way that you can ever bust that mold, like my youngest brother, he was an officer in the military. And then whenever we had family environments, he would open up and say, well, I think we should do this. And because of hierarchy within the family, we'd say, listen, Junior, we all change your diaper, just sit there and listen. And it was unfortunate, but the only way to change that dynamic is to do something phenomenal that is selfless, that you gain everybody's trust in that environment, to change the dynamic so that way you can become the prophet in your own country. Back to you.
I like that. That's great. Great feedback. Anybody else want to share? Tama or Joe? It's okay. And Tama, you want to go next after Joe?
Yeah, I'll keep mine short. And I think when you think about mirrors, the best mirror that I found in my life is a mentor. And usually if you have a true mentor, not an episodical mentor, but someone who mentors you consistently, they can hear what you're saying, even though you may think you're saying something, you're really not. So like in Sherry's case, if she has metrics by how she leads her team, that her mentor can meet with her on consistently. I met with a mentor yesterday in terms of a professional thing I'm working on. And, he was very quick to say, regardless of what I was saying, he was saying that he was telling me that I don't value my experience on what I bring to the table based on the limits that I was putting on myself.
Wow.
And I kind of just sat back. I was kind of stunned that he would say I didn't value myself in that professional sense. But then he started giving me many examples of how I was selling myself short in this particular area because of what he could hear me saying, that even if I was looking in an actual mirror, I would not have heard the same things that my mentor was saying. I'll stop there. Thank you.
Wow, Joel, that must have, how did it make you feel besides stunned?
Yeah, I was stunned, but I was also very appreciative because that's the whole point of why I have a mentor relationship with this individual. He is specifically designed to help me transition out of the military and find my next role in the private sector, and that's exactly what he's very good at. And recognizing that after X number of years in the military, I'm very institutionalized or conditioned to not understand my value outside of the military. And I'm beginning to realize that, but we have also been doing this for several months. So he's seen how much I'm still all people. I think most military people, we struggle trying to articulate our value when it's time to get out.
Yes, yes.
That's a
Yeah.
great one.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
That is
And
true.
that's why you need to have a guideline in picking a mentor. You don't just pick anybody you see or that comes across your path, because you want someone who will be able to tell you the truth in the face of you, as in he can tell you the truth. Some people will just tell you what will make you look good and make you feel good. So we need to put that into cognizance that when you're picking a mentor, you must pick someone who is able to speak to you and tell you the truth in your face so you can change. Because if you get a wrong mentor, you will think you are everything and you not knowing that you are already failing. So that was a great mentor to be with.
Yeah, great. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Tama, did you want to share?
I don't really have anything to say. That's an amazing thought. But I think it's really important when we're thinking about our self-image. Again, I just think about when I was reading this chapter, what I really kept on thinking about is my kids. You know, again, I want my kids to grow up to have this positive self-image. I want them to understand the importance of what we're talking about here. So I think it's so important for leadership to be able to look at yourself and grow from it all the time. I, again, also agree about being in a relationship with a mentoring relationship and having somebody that you can trust, but also that has the time to be with you, to go ahead and speak life into you rather than just going along for the road or for the ride. So those are important things for me. But again, for where I'm at in life, I think that plays a big role. You know, like Joe said, I mean, when you're getting ready to transition out of the military, that was huge for me when I got out. But now I think my life is more centered around my adult kids. I mean, they're both away in college. So I find myself, all the books that I'm reading and what I'm going through, I always seem to bring it back to where they're at. So I've come to realize it's so important on where each of us is at, what stage of life we're at and where we're at, because that's what makes this kind of group really good, because you got a whole bunch of people from different phases in life, and it makes it really exciting so that you can learn and glean from everybody, all the different other things that are going on. So again, thanks for letting me share.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that wisdom as well. Yeah. Roy, I don't know if you're there, but go ahead.
I am.
Oh, you are. Oh, do you want to share anything?
Sure. Sorry, I'm on a bike. Yeah.
Training. Very good.
Yeah. One thing that's really neat that I've learned over the years was if 2 or 3 people say the same thing about me, maybe it's a critique or something that I need to work on, I start to take a lot more notice into it. I just started thinking 2 or 3 people are saying the same thing. Let me take a look, deeper look into that. And it's really helped me out to be a lot more self-aware of those things in life.
Yes. Yeah. That's wise. Yes, you're right. Being so young, and I don't want to pick on you because you're young, but that is a very good that you're full of wisdom at this age. What can I say? I don't know. That's very wise. Anyone else want to chime in with that? That's really wise counsel. That's good. Thank you for sharing.
That's true, because it is said that what you get to do all the time, you focus on over time, you become. And so for people to say that you are this, you're doing this is who you are, there is a need for you to give attention and look inward to see what can you change.
Yeah.
What is it true? What they're saying? Are you reflect? Is that what people are seeing? Because you could be seeing something differently, and somebody else is telling you, this is what we see about you. This is what we notice that you do. This is what we see. This is the vibes that you're giving out there. So you need to go back to your drawing board and say, okay, what am I doing right? What am I not doing right to get it right? So we are the only person who can tell ourselves the truth. You understand? Yes, people will tell you, but you need to go back and really take some time, quiet moments to look inward. Then you begin to see the true person that you are.
Yes, that's great. That's great. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Thank you. Thank you, Sandra, for that as well. Okay, can you see the screen? The same screen? The slide? Okay, I'm going to change the
Yes, I can
slides.
see.
Okay, so let's change the slides. Here we go. I found this one is a really cool quote that he had in his notes. John had in his notes is, we either step forward into growth or back into safety. And interesting, just to share a little bit about me, I prefer safety. I think I didn't even realize it. I think all my life I preferred safety and non-confrontational. And I think it's all stemmed around not rocking the boat, being very accommodative. But I didn't realize that was hindering my growth. Even though in my head, I love growing, I love learning new things, I love exploring. I'm always, in fact, my bookshelf, I just realized most of it, in fact, all of it is all like self-help, growing kind of books. I don't really read nonfiction. I mean, fiction. Was it fictional? No, nonfiction. No, fiction. I don't read any fiction books. It's all like self-help, improvement, learning new things. Anyway, okay, so I thought I brought this up. Any shares about this? Okay, so I'm sorry, I really have a weird I'm gonna just tell you, a weird mouse today. It's like a runaway mouse. I don't know if anyone experienced a runaway mouse before, but that's what I'm experiencing today. Oh, yay, let's do a poll. Okay, let's do a poll. I'm going to stop sharing. And I don't know what's wrong with this mouse. It's just going weird. Okay. All right. Okay, you know what? Let me just do this. Let's use this thing. Okay. Sandra, can you stop sharing for me? I can't seem to get this non-sharing thing. Can you stop?
Want me to share for you?
Yeah, can you stop sharing it? I don't know why. I can't. Sorry, guys. Oh, there. Thank you very much. Okay.
I did it.
Yay, thank you. Okay, let's take a poll. Okay. I'm going to launch it and there we go. Go ahead. So steps to build your self-image. So John, in his chapter 3, listed 10 things that we could, this is only a few of them, but out of the 10, I have a few answers here. It was just too much to put down. So, which is not listed as a step to build your self-image, which is not listed to build your self-image. Okay, did we answer? I think we're all here. Okay. Okay. All right, I'm going to end the poll. Let's see. Okay, share results. Okay. Okay, well, we have one person that selected embrace a positive vision for your life based on.
That's because I can't follow instructions. No, I laughed at the first one because I knew it was not. Yeah, I failed.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Well, funny enough, everybody was supposed to get this right, Joe. I'm just to be transparent here. And my note says, okay, the person that answered it wrong actually wins the prize of getting to go to a Sunday brunch for the rest of your life, and that's the grand prize. But okay, so what is that? What is that? Dong or whatever. Sorry, that's wrong. I mean, that's that backfired on me. Okay, so but thank you, Joe, for trying.
That's proof of what kind of learner I am. I needed to slow down and read that again. But
Okay.
I know that about myself though.
That's good. As long as you know about that. And then now I learned, okay, that's not going to be in my notes the next time to offer that as a grand prize. Okay, let's move on. I don't know why I'm just kidding. What's wrong with this mouse? Sorry. Okay, I can't figure this out. What's the next slide? Can you get access to my slides, Sandra? No,
What did you say?
my slides. I can't
Try
advance
try
it. Oh,
try
here.
using your laptop pad
Without mouse,
versus
yeah.
the mouse. That might be a little bit more stable.
Oh,
for you.
okay. There we go. Yeah. Okay, now can you see the slide? Oh no, I didn't even share it yet. Sorry. Okay. Oh my goodness. Why? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Share. Okay. Let's do this. Now live it. Okay, so as he mentioned, there's 10 steps. I'm just taking
Oh.
2.
Auntie,
Yes, dear.
you got to switch. You got to switch what you're presenting because we have the notes.
Oh, you have the notes?
Yeah, we're looking at the notes.
Okay, see, that's the problem here. I'm thank you for telling me.
That's because he's your nephew. I wanted to see the answers in the note.
Roy, you gave it away.
He saved me. Okay, not even my laptop thing is working. Oh my goodness. Okay, Jicky. So this is a good thing because Jicky just happens to be the tech guru, and he always shares on what to do to prevent these things or to help you not get into these problems. And I should have been paying attention. Okay, so here we go. I stopped sharing my slide. And what we're going to do next is we are going to look at this slide. Okay, and we're going to. So basically, there's 10 of there out of the 10, has anyone resonated with any of the 10 steps that you can actually use in helping you build the value in yourself? Again, when he said you must see value in yourself to add value in yourself, how many can resonate with that? Yeah. Interesting. When he said that, I kind of did read it more than once because I couldn't understand what did that mean. It didn't make sense to me until I really realized when I took actual steps to learn, to get into with others that are like-minded, like with Toastmasters and John Maxwell, self-licking ice cream cone. I like that, Chicky. That's a good idea. Okay, here we go. Now here we go. Oh my goodness. Okay, enter full screen mode. Okay, there we go. Now we're gonna share. There, now can you see this? Audience share mode. There we go. Can you see the slide without my notes? Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right, so here we go. These are 2. So what anybody wants to share any of the steps that resonated with you? I just brought 2 up here. But before I share this, anyone want to share? Okay. Well, I like the one.
Yes, I want to say
Okay.
something.
Oh, go ahead. Yay. Thank you.
A lot of times, it's not easy, the things you will have to do, but it comes with, oh, I'm sorry, let me go. I have some. I have to change. Just a second. What happened?
You're
The
here.
slide?
We can hear
Yes, I
you.
can.
Oh,
Okay.
can you see it?
Yes, I
Okay.
can. But a lot of times you want to do some things. It's not always convenient. Even when you have an agenda, you want to be guided by an agenda. I'm using an agenda as an illustration when you want to write your itinerary for the day. Sometimes you write an itinerary of what you want to do back to back. You find out that at the end of the day, you don't follow through the way you had placed them. So sometimes it takes a lot of discipline to stick something around you to show you what you need to do every hour so that you're guided right. Because sometimes you just find that at 6-7 hours is gone, you've not achieved anything, and you've already atomized all you need to do for the day. So a lot of times it takes self-discipline to be guided by your itinerary and live by it and make sure you follow through. So it's a discipline. For me, I find that difficult. Sometimes I want to write something out, the things I want to do the next day. But I found that, by the time I get in, I just, will find that, oh, it's almost end of day. I've not done half of it. So I became so conscious about it. And I told myself at every 1 hour, I'm going to be asking myself, what have you done in the last 1 hour? And that has helped me and has also guided me. So after 1 hour, if I can't give a reason or something tangible that I have done, I become so intentional to ensure that the following hours I try to do something tangible. That at the end of the day, I have something I've achieved for the day. It takes a lot of discipline to follow an agenda, to follow an itinerary, to the letter.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you for sharing. Yes, so true. What about in reverse? Anybody tried being intentionally mindful to do nothing and just chill out and relax? How many of you downloaded that app that's, the intentional mindfulness app or even see the commercial, the Calm app? It's clocking for like 1 minute and you literally cannot do anything for 1 minute. How many of you tried that? It's hard. It's really hard. You have to be really intentional not to do anything, not to think of anything for that one moment. So on one spectrum, being intentional, like Sandra said, to be intentional with doing your agenda and making progress and accomplishing things. On the other end, you still have to be intentional not to do, or whatever that is. You want to be more mindful, be more self-reflecting. What is that, Dan? I never heard of that.
Every now and then, I have a habit of having to pick up this little piece, and it tells me that this is me getting around to it. That's procrastination for you.
Yeah, that's big time procrastination. No, just kidding. But that's cool. That is cool. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so anybody else want to share? I cannot see everyone, so you're gonna just have to talk. Okay, go ahead. Talk.
Okay. So whenever my wife and I, when we first started dating, we would always go, whenever we would go out to dinner, we would have our dinner and then, the appetizer, the entree, and then we never would have room for dessert. And we would always be disappointed because we would always see a dessert that we must have. And so one time we went out and I said, let's go reverse. And she says, what do you mean? We're going to start with dessert first. And then we're going to go and we're going to have our entree. And then we're going to have salad. And I can tell you, it was one of the funniest things that we had ever done because we overdid it on the dessert. We had every single dessert that our heart's desire, but we're always too full to get it. And this time we did the dessert first. And then what we ended up doing was we took the entree home because we couldn't even finish it. We couldn't even start it, but we had it for a meal the next day. So we did reverse thinking and did what our heart's desire, which was eat as much dessert as we wanted. And it gave us another perspective of how we approach our lives. Back to you.
I love it. That's a good idea. That's brilliant. I never thought of that. That's a really good idea. And how many of you tried that before? Anybody? We all, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I thought about doing that once, but then it always comes back to mind where my aunt or my mom or somebody would say, "Eat your food first before dessert," and I'm like, "Okay, okay, okay." So then I always held back. So no, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Okay, so this one, thank you for sharing. This one says, if you cannot see value in yourself, that you're capable, that you're worthy and fully valuable, because God designed you exactly the way you need to be, then definitely get a new mirror, or definitely get a new mirror. Or you need, or what that means is probably you could even change your environment. Maybe it's the wrong people that you're around that are not that, not providing you that good feedback, or the what is that, learning the learning environment. So that could be that, changing your environment, changing your job, perhaps, getting new hobbies that will provide you more passion and purpose. Okay, so discipline, that we talked about that. Okay, so now here we are. Can you see the screen?
I just see a sliver of your slide.
That's
Like
what
a-
I was gonna say.
A sliver of my slide.
Yeah, it's just like a long rectangle in the
Okay.
center of the screen.
Oh my goodness, what is going on? So sorry. Okay, wait. Let's stop sharing and try again. Oh my.
Stop sharing and reshare.
Okay.
Yeah, it
let's
looks
do
like
it.
you might have shifted it to the right. So then all we saw is the left margin.
That's
pretty much.
weird. That's so weird. Okay. Okay. So the last slide is about lead it. And that is based on page 49, applying the law of the mirror to your life. Can you see it now? No?
Auntie, we're seeing your notes again.
So
Oh
if,
my goodness. This is like sort of failure today. Okay.
so if you go to function
You-
F5, are you PC or are you Mac?
PC.
So if you use the function key and then
Function key.
F5,
F5.
and then it should take you to the slideshow instead of the slide sorter.
Oh.
Should, but no guarantees.
Okay, sorry guys. Oh my gosh, this is like a big failure. Okay. All right, here we go. How's that? You see it now?
No, same.
Do you have two screens?
You're not using presenter view.
Oh, that's it. Presenter view. Okay, what about that? No? Okay.
No.
Okay, never
Go-
mind. You know what? Let's go back. Let's stop sharing this. Okay, so page 49 of our book is a really good resource. So there's 3 things that we want to look at for this week, this coming week. So number 1, make a list of all your best personal qualities. And let's come up with at least 100 words. Okay, 100 words. And of those words, you're going to pick
Lovely,
one.
do it. I like it.
Okay. So that's number
Lovely,
1.
I
Make
like
a
it.
list. Okay, wait, Sandra, you're not muted. Okay, wait, Sandra, I can hear you.
Mistakenly.
Okay, wait, let's mute her. Okay, so that's number 1. Make a list, 100 words, and then out of the words, pick up one, and that would be your North Star word that will help describe who you are. And the next week, when we open up, we're going to share that word with everyone who wants to share their word. Okay, number 2, there's a few things that impact a person's self-esteem more than the way they talk to themselves on a day-to-day basis. Are you aware of how you talk to yourself? Okay, now that I've experienced this big failure of technology in front of people, in my mind, I'm probably saying, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? Why am I trying to attempt this technological things in front of all these people? Good thing you're all my friends and family. But self-talk, it's so important. We're all learning. I'm learning and I'm not good at it, but I think being transparent and just being real, like we're all experiencing this at one point and another. And I'm doing it right now in front of you guys, but that's okay. We're still learning. I'll learn through this situation. Okay, the next one, number 3. If you want to feel valuable if you want to feel valuable, you need to add value to others. Isn't that amazing? I mean, like, how simple is that? And anyone want to share with that? Because, I do have a few shares, but I don't want to take up the time. Anyone wants to share? Thank you, Robin. I love you too. Thank you. Oh, okay. Anyone want to share? Save me. Share. Anyone experience a time when they was feeling really junky and like, so, oh my gosh, why am I here? What am I doing? And then turned around, was able to help somebody and felt so much better. Anyone want to share?
I'll share something on that
Okay.
I've had to learn through a lot of experience because I'm very empathetic by nature. And sometimes adding value to other people's life is how I deflect, so I don't have to work on myself. and
Yeah.
I found that by doing that for years, I was actually, we started this lesson off talking about the law of the mirror, and you have to value yourself in order to value others. And there was a point in my life where I had to intentionally stop and truly look in the mirror and be able to say that I love myself and I am worthy, and there's a lot of other things in that affirmation. But it took other people pointing it out to me that it was time for me to be a little bit selfish and work on myself. And because of that work, now I'm able to add more value to other people.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so true. So true. Anyone else want to share? It's kind of like how the saying is, how can you give on an empty tank? Right?
No, it is said garbage in, garbage out, like the computer. If you don't put something in yourself, you have nothing to give out. So you want to be conscious of that. So, and that's why I said earlier, a leader is a person who knows it and shows it to all. So a leader is someone who sees value in himself and tries to add value to himself before adding to others. And you would bear with me that when you get to the plane, the air hostess come in and she tells you that once the plane, in case there's an emergency, you need to put the mask on yourself first before you help anybody around you. That's it. You've got to put value in yourself, see value in yourself, add value in yourself in order to be able to give value to someone else. So, and that's the same thing that happens with your computer. It says garbage in, garbage out. What you give to the computer is what the computer gives back to you. So whatever information you feed yourself with is what you get to show on the outside. And that's what people get to see. So if you don't put value in yourself and you don't have, if there's no personal development in you, people will see an empty vessel. So when people come around you, oh my God, this guy is empty. He's got nothing to show. But sometimes people come around, some people are like, oh my God, I want to be with you all my life. I want to hang around you because every time I come around you, I see something and I go back with value. I see myself, wanting to be like you or wanting to, do something I have never been able to do. I see myself, being inspired. So that is when you are called to be a leader. And so much, it's not an easy process, but you have to start somewhere. Like John Maxwell will always say, you start beat by beat, small by small. If you don't start it today, you will never get there. So you might look at it, oh, it's so much. When will I get there? Rome was never built in a day. It has to start somewhere. So you've got to start somewhere and take it one day at a time. And surely you will get to the end.
Great. Thank you, Sandra. Anyone else want to share? We got a few minutes more.
I train a lot of people when it comes down to like marathons and stuff like that. And there are a lot of times they're looking at it as an unsurmountable task. And I tell them kind of like the same thing Sandra said. I said, one of the best times to plant a tree was 7 years ago. The next best time to plant a tree is today. And so taking a step today, taking intentional steps is so important.
Yep, you're right. You're right. Exactly.
You know, it's funny that pretty much everything that's been shared today is, I can pretty much say that we all agree on and we fully understand. And that's the way I look at things. And even though I may know it, I like hearing it because it reaffirms a need for me to continue doing the same things. And one way I like to take a look at all these things, especially with valuing yourself, I think that the part that I took the most out of this chapter was in being able to assess how much value I put in myself. What I mean by that is I have a tendency sometimes to take a step out of the box. And I like to look at it as a good thing because in taking a step out of the box, I'm able to look at myself and see if I am putting enough value in what it is that is important to me. In other words, if I had to take a step back and say, well, Dan, are you trying hard enough? Are you putting enough into what it is that is your passion? Or are you taking your usual route of picking up that little button and says, I'll get around to it? And sometimes that's a good way to give ourselves self-assessment to see if we really value what is valuable to us. And more often than not, it tells me, yes, I know what my value is. How come I am not putting of enough effort or investment into the value that I am worth? And sometimes that's a good way for me to let me know and be able to stand up and say, okay, time to get up, throw away that little round, get around to it, and do something about it. So, self-assessment, take a step out and see how much you're really worth or how much you're putting into what you're worth.
I like that. That's great, Dan. I like that. Yeah. Okay, great. So we're going to work on our, anyone want to share? Anyone else want to share?
I got
Roy?
one.
Go ahead, Roy.
So I've been challenged with this thought, the difference between pride and confidence. Because, in the fields, wherever I might be, there's, I try to put a lot of value, but then I was like, what is the difference than pride? When does pride come in? And then I realized what it is as far as the difference. It's when other people need to know. And so there's a silent sense of confidence when we're putting value within ourselves. Do other people need to know, or is it within us? So it's been a journey for me to actually explore too as well, especially with me trying to be competitive in the sports that I'm in. Do other people need to know, or is it just me?
Wow.
You said the word competition, competitiveness. That's usually the part that leads the pride in, and I totally agree with you. I lived that all my life, and it's like, my God, I gotta let that go. Stop thinking about yourself and start moving forward to help others. Because I know, just like what you guys were discussing earlier, Joe, in order for you to go ahead and be able to take care and get rid of your problems, step out, help others. In helping others, you're also growing at the same time. And Roy, exactly, I've been living that all my life because I grew up from day one, always having that competitive nature. I always got to win. I always got to be first. I got to have the best artwork. And I realized that it was pride, not necessarily confidence, that I was putting forward. And I hate that about myself. And I'm being truthful here because I'm admitting it. I'm a very prideful person. And that's the part I'm really trying to work on, is let go of the pride and maybe work a little bit more on that confidence part, and that soft confidence where it doesn't need to be shown or known for anybody. That's for you. That's not really for everybody. If everybody looks at you and sees you that you have the confidence, your action will speak so much more than what your words will. So thank you for sharing that, Roy. I like that because you reminded me what one of my biggest flaws are.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Roy. Dan, I think, yeah, transparency and the growth, like, again, it's all part of growth, right? To actually know and be mindful. So that's good. That's good. Thanks, Roy, for sharing as well. I know we have to bring more of your friends, Roy, into this so they can learn from you as well. Like you're teaching all of us old people, but that's okay. That's good. We're all still learning, right? We're always learning. Good job. Okay. So anyone else want to share before we start wrapping it up? Oh, yes, Jiki.
So one of the things so I was called a rescuer, and I thought that was like an insult, but they said you have a habit. And like Joe had said, you're very emphatic and you want to support others. And what my mentor had shared with me says, when you're a rescuer and they don't ask to be rescued, but you go in anyway, you swoop down and you support them and you save them, you are a nice guy, but you're taking away their accountability. And when you take away their accountability, they don't have the opportunity to have self-growth because you went in and you solved it for them. So when you are the hero all the time and they don't learn to resolve the issue on themselves, that makes them dependent on you. You want them to be independent. And so I started utilizing that with my son when he was growing up, because I would say, well, what would you do? And he's, Dad, I can't do it. Oh, think about it. What would you do? And now he's very independent and he's never asked me for a dime. So I'm happy about that. Back to you.
Yes, you're right.
Good way to save money. No, I'm kidding.
No, that's right. That's part of the growth, right? That's the growth. It's the only way we're going to grow. Yeah. Even through technology. That doesn't work all the time. No, I'm just kidding. It's not the technology, it's the operator. Anyway, okay. All right. Well, anyway, okay, so we have homework this week. And again,
Jiki, that was a great one.
Yeah, that was really great.
Yeah,
Thank
giving
you.
everyone, sometimes to experience their own journey, not helping them and not, serving or looking as a God to them. Sometimes you need people to go through their journey so they can learn. And sometimes they need to experience it themselves.
Yeah.
Yes, I second that, Judy. Thank you for sharing. That's so awesome. Because I'm a counselor, and I always tell myself that my clients have to be doing more work than I am. And if I'm doing more work, then I'm not allowing them to take responsibility, right? And so it's so easy as people in the helping profession to get caught up in trying to rescue
everything.
People. So that's great that if we can all have that awareness, because we can do that with our kids.
We can.
So thank you for sharing. That's a word for today, Jiki.
Sure.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Okay. Anyone else want to share? Okay, great. Well, so let's work on our words. We're going to work on our 100 words, at least 100 words, if you can, about your best personal qualities. And then we're going to narrow it down to at least one that describes you. And then we're going to share next week. So we're going to also read chapter 4, which is the law of reflection. That's one of my favorites. Okay. Well, other than that, you all have a beautiful day. Sandra, you want to say parting words? You have a beautiful...
It's so awesome. The class has been so interesting. I wish we could continue, but we need to call it a day, because for some people it's late for them. And for me, it's I want to get into other things. But I want to thank everyone for joining. I want to thank you. I gleaned from everyone. I learned from Roy, Jiki, Joe, Tamara, Sherry, Robin, and Dan. It was awesome being with you this evening. Thank you so much for your time. We look forward to seeing you next week, Friday. Do have a great weekend. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Okay, bye, everyone. Thank you very much.
Bye, everybody.
Aloha.
Have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Aloha.
Oh, my God.